Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there. You gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross, and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew their glorious pop, if that people knew their glorious pop, if that people knew their glorious pop, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter. Make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we must stand together and be counted, because people look to us for guidance, leadership, and protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job. Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose. Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage. We are. This is Manifestations 2020.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
All right. Welcome to another week of Manifestations 2020. We have a dope show for you guys tonight. We have our special guest, man. You guys are going to know a lot about him. I saw him on Pop the Balloon episode, reached out to the brother. What he said on there was so powerful that we needed to bring him on to today's show in order for us to get a more detailed dialogue of some very powerful things that I think a lot of men are lacking out here and need to understand, kind of like a dialogue of awareness, and also just to enhance brothers around the world so that way they don't fall into tricks and traps that might be set up by the opposition. Because one thing about dating, you just never know the hidden agenda of the other person, and that goes for both men and women. So no further ado, want to bring in our special guests tonight and let them tell us who they are, what's going on with them, and also just to give us a general gist of, basically what they're doing and what they're trying to accomplish. So with no further ado, give it up to our special guest, Mr. Aaron. How you doing, sir?
All right. How you doing, fellas? How's it going?
All right. That's what's up.
Yeah, I see
What's
you.
going on?
So tell us a little bit about yourself, before you go into how you got on to Pop the Balloon. Just give us a little backstory of who you are and go from there.
Okay. So backstory about myself. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., pretty much born and raised. Now I reside in the Miami, Florida area. Professionally, I do investigations, background and private. And I also have my own bodyguard and private protection service where, I have multiple clients for multiple services. It's a broad spectrum, like anything in the security, protection, bodyguard field, we do. So that's pretty much what I do.
Okay, so right there with what you do you find that you grow more into your profession? Do you understand, because you're a very high intelligent guy who operates with a lot of emotional intelligence, does that play also a bigger part in helping you to protect other people with your job? How does that come with the mindset?
Oh, absolutely. So because, anytime you are in the custody of care of anybody, you have to think about things they don't think about. Our job is pretty much to give the client peace of mind. I think about things they don't think about. I think about the who, the what, the when, the where, possibilities, things that could go wrong. But you try to, and you handle those things accordingly. So yes, you do have to be emotionally intelligent, because for one, once you start to build a rapport with certain clients and you have like a regular revolving door of people that you deal with, you learn what they like. You learn how they move. You learn how to adapt. And I would say that's one of the biggest things too in intelligence, is that being able to be adaptable to all kinds of situations, outcomes, and excel in those things, because and it's a process as well. I'm still learning. Like I said, this is fairly new. Like I've made this transition over the last 2 years, and so I have been able to be blessed enough to have a great quality of people that I have worked for and worked with, meet some good people along the way that have helped me out, mentored me, put me in the right position, and point me in the right direction. And so, yeah, you definitely have to be adaptable. And that's the first line, being adaptable, being consistent. You got to have a structural base. You got to be, of your word, of your business practices. You got to be about the bottom line.
Okay.
And so all of those things, they do fall into the intelligence aspect too, because you can't let how you personally feel about something deter you from what needs to be done.
Correct.
Yeah.
And what's so critical about what you said is that over the years, people have been telling others that, just don't hop out there and just grab a business. Try to work within the field of what you're trying to build and get the energy, the information, and utilize that information to now apply it into your business. More than likely, you'll become more successful. Was that also something that you saw working with somebody else, knowing what you needed to do in order to establish yourself independently?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't suggest that anybody just jump into something in the blind. You have to, I believe that mentorship and being around like-minded individuals is the first step to say, hey, because you could have an idea, say, hey, I really want to start a business, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And 30, 60, 90 days into it, you're like, I'm really not cut out for this. I didn't think about everything that comes with this, right? That's the reason why places do internships and have people come in, let's do a test run and see if this is really the field for you. because what I do specifically, it's a lot of long days. If you don't want to work 16-hour days, or you can't be up all night, you may miss holidays, you may miss weekends, you sacrifice time with your family. It's a lot of different things. And I come from a background, I did 15 years corrections in the prison system in DC. And so that structure base was the catalyst for allowing me to say, okay, now I want to go in my own direction and do something for myself. But I still use those core principles and values that came from that kind of structural field to scale my own business and aspirations.
Wow.
So you have to have some kind of, you can't go into anything just with the idea that this is going to go the way that I planned it. It's a lot of, like I said, this is fairly new for me, and I've been able to scale it pretty good to where things are consistent. I haven't had no real issues, but you know, you're still trying to grow and get better and have more and do better. So you always learning. Mentorship is necessary, even if you have to pay for it. Sometimes you have to spend money on mentorship. People aren't necessarily willing to give you gems and the jewels for free. Everybody isn't going to give you a platform. You can't YouTube everything. And sometimes you actually got to get out there with the grit and beat the street and make it happen.
Definitely. You said a bar on that one. All right, so now we understand, because if I went to somebody that needed some kind of protection, I definitely would hit you up, because like you say, you see things that other people aren't aware of. And in order for you to be protected, right, you want somebody by you that can able to see things able to see things that they're not able to see. And that's what makes it so important when we come to relationships, having a key partner that see things that you're not able to see. That evolves into what we call power couples, or just a couple that has great visionary and has an aligned at a rate where they are more successful than failing at all aspects. So transitioning into that, going into the realms of dating, you find yourself wanting to go on to Pop the Balloon. What made you go towards that direction and say, you know what, this is something that I wanted to do? Because normally people will say, oh, you know, why you can't just go out there and find a woman? Why would you want to go on these app sites or something like Pop the Balloon, which is a reality dating show, something like that? Why would you do that versus the traditional way of finding somebody?
Well, so first of all, I no longer think that we are in traditional times. So if you want an outcome that you don't necessarily see, you may have to be willing to do something that you wouldn't necessarily do. So one thing for me that I had to really realize is that everything that's for you isn't going to be in your comfort zone. And so the biggest challenge that I had for myself was saying, okay, well, let me get out of my comfort zone, turn up my optimism and not be negative and give things a chance, right? Because you can say, oh, dating, it's hard. It's hard for the men. It's hard for the women. We can play the blame game. We can do all of that. But if you actually want to get out there and find something of substance and have longevity and something lasting, it's not a lot of that walking around. So you're going to have to necessarily do extreme measures to get the outcome that you want. And so for me, it was like, okay, well, let's give it a chance. You know, I was reached out to, and I felt like, okay, it's nothing stopping me. At worst, if it doesn't work out, it'd be a good experience, a good opportunity to at least see where I fall in the dating dynamic. Because sometimes you have, and I always say that, we can think highly of ourselves, as you should, right? But the market definitely going to tell you where you stand when it comes to dating, to relationships, to business, to anything. I could say, hey, I'm the hottest thing smoking, and I get on there and the fire extinguisher's out as soon as I get out there. So that tells you that you still have some things that you need to work on. You know, none of us are perfect, or we come in perfectly configured for somebody else, but the first step is actually putting yourself out there. You can't get an outcome that you don't at least try for.
Correct. So I want to show everybody the clips of what you were on Pop the Balloon. We're going to go through them real quick. It was your segment, but I thought what made you stood out from a lot of people and what made me want to reach out to you is because there's people that use platforms like that, or just any platform in particular, and they might have a hidden agenda. I think you came up there with pure intentions, just how you speaking to us, and you coming with a pure intention on that. I thought you brought that to the stage itself. And that's why when you first came out, no woman popped their balloons, because I think they see the true genuineness of what you had to offer. And also the questions that you were asking were very, not totally deep, but it was in-depth, intentional questions that I thought was great questions to vetting, part of the vetting process, which would get you to the point of selecting a real woman. So I want to show people that aspect of it, and we can chop it up and talk about it.
Go ahead and ask them another question.
Okay, ladies, if you have children, how many, and where are you located?
Okay, start there. Head back this way. All right. Do you have any children? How many, if you do, and where are you located?
No kids, and I live in Phoenix.
Phoenix. Okay. All right. I mean, I'm in Miami. Phoenix is a long way, so.
I'm a flight attendant. I fly.
Say less.
Say less. All right. And what about over here?
I have a 15-year-old son, and I live in California, Berkeley, California.
Okay. Nice. I have a son as well, by the way. He's 16.
Oh, nice.
So, yes.
Cool.
And what about over here?
I say my name, age again.
If you want. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Geneva. I'm 38.
Geneva again. Hi again.
My son is also 15.
Okay.
And I live in Phoenix.
15 gang.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about over here?
I have two daughters. One, my youngest is 12, and then my oldest is 15. Okay. And I live here in Arizona.
Got you. Okay. Thank you, ladies.
Okay, so you said you have a 16-year-old child, daughter or son? Son. Okay. All right. Well, let's have you pop another balloon. Okay. So why was your balloon unpopped?
I wanted to give him a chance and just hear him out. He is attractive, and yeah, just wanted to hear more from him.
Okay, sounds good. And why'd you end up popping her balloon?
I popped my balloon simply because California, probably not.
Okay.
Like to be realistic, like we would text here or there, but it'll fall off. California is kind of a super extreme.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's completely the opposite side. So that was pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely some work that you'll have to put in.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. And it's like schedules. It's a lot. So,
what do you do again?
I'm sorry. So I work in investigations, and I also have a bodyguard and protection service as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But that's the only reason, like, pretty.
All right. So we've got our 3 ladies left. Go ahead and ask them another question. Get them talking a little bit.
Get them talking.
Yeah.
All right. So that was the first part, right? So I wanted to show that part because I thought what you asked was very important. And also, when you popped the girl's balloon and you gave information on why you popped it, even though she's a very attractive woman, you didn't want to waste her time. And you stated what you stated, like basically Miami's on one side, Cali's way on the other side. So the distance was like extreme opposites. And I think a lot of men would have tried to play the game to deal with her, probably have relations with her, and then say, oh, you know what, it didn't work out. But you were very intentional about that. And I wanted you to elaborate more on that and elaborate more on why you chose to ask that question about the type of, how many children they had and where they live.
Okay, so I pretty much just asked to get, so we don't know what's going on when we come out. So I have to ask questions. I don't know anything about these women. So I figured we made it to this part, and deeper than surface level, I asked about children first because you also have to, guesstimate or calculate how many children you're willing to deal with if a woman has children, right? So when you realize like, hey, she has 3, 4, whatever, up or down, you already say in my mind, well, I don't think I want to sign up for a task that's so big. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of circumstances. What's the issue with the child's father? What's the issue with the structuring of the home? Like, it's a lot of variables the more people that you add, because ultimately, when you decide to deal with a woman with children, you have to deal with and care for those children as if they're your own as well. You can't just go in and say, oh, I only want to deal with the woman, but I don't want to have no parts with the child. That's not my demeanor. I wasn't raised like that, so I know that I wouldn't put myself in a situation with more people than I want to be responsible for. The second part about that is, yeah, me explaining to her, like, I don't believe in those women came from wherever parts of the country they came from. I feel like we're all in a certain age dynamic where it's like we're not in our 20s. So I feel like they have already had enough of their time wasted by gentlemen or whoever before, and they're looking to move intentional. So I'm not going to. It's never serious enough for me to play the game or go with this back and forth just to gain fake interest or some kind of attention or attraction or sexual access to a woman when it requires, like any of you gentlemen know that women require work. It's hard to keep up with women that live across the street. So me trying to keep, I mean, let's just be real. I can't even meet you. I can't even meet you at the mailbox at the same time. So how am I going to keep up with you on a whole nother East Coast, West Coast dynamic, your work schedule, my work schedule? And like I said, they don't really, they kind of make it surface level with some of the responses and some of the answers. But I ask questions. I feel like you don't need to go, this is not philosophical. You know what I mean? We don't have to go into, you don't have to be Socrates to ask a question. Yeah. All you have to do is have some kind of intention because you need to get to a direct answer. So I always try to ask questions that are going to get me right to what I need to know without all the dancing and back and forth.
Well said. Definitely. All right, so I'm gonna go on to the second part of your audition.
Get him talking a little bit.
Get him talking?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, ladies, what is your idea of a healthy and functioning relationship, and how do you contribute to that?
Okay, let's start here. Name and age, answer to this question.
My name is Shay, and I'm 35 years old, I'm sorry. To me, a healthy and functioning relationship would first start with communication. Like, that is the basis of any relationship that you have, whether it's intimate, work, friends, etc. I also feel like being understanding and open with your partner is something that a lot of relationships don't have, and then they fail. Being able to compromise. I feel for me, what I would bring to the relationship is femininity. I'm a woman in every aspect of, the word. I'm goal-oriented. I'm educated. And I mean, the nurturing aspect, you know what I'm saying? That's my role as a woman, to nurture my man. So that as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, name and age and answer to this question.
I'm Geneva, 38. Could you remind me what your question was again, so I'll make sure I answer it correctly?
What's your idea of a healthy and functioning relationship, and how do you contribute to that?
My idea of a healthy and functioning relationship has to be centered around God. I believe that that's the strongest. You have to have a foundation at first, and then I'm really big on communication. I can provide that. I was raised to communicate. I'm very transparent. I feel like a part of choosing somebody is love is choice, right? So if I'm completely honest with you, then we both have the choice to, move accordingly. So, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Name and age and answer to this question.
Cassandra, 36, and I feel like, can you repeat your question again?
What's your idea of a healthy and functioning relationship, and how do you contribute to that?
Okay, I feel like in a relationship, like, you have to be best friends with your partner. Like, you have to be able to talk with them about anything. You have to be able to have the support and vice versa, give the support to them. You have to be able to have their back whenever, through thick and thin. I'm very, like I did say, I'm very nurturing, so I'm a good listener. I'm very intuitive, so even if my partner doesn't really obviously you learn the person, so you kind of can understand, and if they're in a bad mood, maybe they need some space, or maybe they need to be comforted in that moment. You have to be able to pick up on the little cues and stuff. I feel like I'm really good with that, and yeah.
Okay. We'll get the rest down.
Right. Okay, is that time again? I'm gonna have you pop one more balloon.
It's that time again.
It's that time again. All right. So why was your balloon unpopped?
He's handsome. I liked everything he had to say, and he said he works out. I work out all the time, so the active lifestyle got me, and yeah.
Okay. And why'd you end up popping her balloon?
I just didn't necessarily. I'm sorry. Nothing that she said. Nothing was wrong. Just didn't necessarily feel the outright connection there. So I mean, pretty girl, like the head, love your eyes.
Thank you.
I don't have anything negative to say. That's just how I feel.
Okay, understandable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that is the second part, and I wanted to say that was a great question to ask, because that was a question that also had to have these women speak on what they needed to put in-depth details in, and you could also tell which woman it flowed more naturally with versus women that were just trying to say all the right things. And I don't know if you know, but throughout the whole thing, you could tell that a lot of these women were choosing, and they were choosing heavy on you, and they were trying to say some things to try to get their listening ear to make them have their balloon unpopped for further and further rounds. So did you initially catch that? And what did you think of that in that moment? What were you surprised at the answers you got, or did you think that it was a little bit shallow with the answers?
Okay, so first of all, I would say, like, when I came out, nobody popped. So I guess that tell me the eye test was substantial enough. That's usually, not necessarily a tell, because some people like to give people a chance and say, oh, this person not really my this person not really my that, but I wanted to hear them out, which is fine, because I believe in doing the same, giving people an opportunity, right? But when it got down to that second question specifically, to be completely transparent, I had been thinking about what is a way that I can ask a woman in so many words, what does she bring to the table that isn't triggering? And I feel like the question that I asked is basically the equivalent of, what do you bring to the table? Because a lot of women will say, oh, the very first thing they think when they hear that question is the man is talking about money or her contributing. No. So I said, what is your idea of a healthy and functioning relationship? And I asked that because healthy and functioning doesn't mean for the man or for the woman individually. It means, how do we come together? And then I asked, what do they contribute to that? Meaning, because now you have to give me some kind of character-based answer. It can't be based on just a quick answer to say, oh, I cook, I clean, I this, I that. Because cooking doesn't contribute to healthy. Character does. So I think sometimes as men, we have to be intentional in our questioning, instead of just getting caught up in these cliche questions or conversation or talking points that a lot of other men on a lot of other platforms are using. Those are not working. So we have to use our thinking caps to come up with ways to ask a question or deliver a message that the woman is receptive to. And you can see that when I asked those questions, no woman was offended. There was no negative discourse. It was no back and forth. And I also don't want you to give me an answer that you can just think of quickly. I want you to stumble through it, because that's going to give me even more of a tale of your character. Because now you have to think about what it is, what is it that I actually do that makes this relationship function? How am I of service? Am I nurturing? Am I loving? Do I pour into my partner the same way I want my partner to pour into me? Not necessarily by doing the same exact thing, but by doing the equivalent of what my partner is receptive to. Because we require different things from our women than they require from us.
Correct.
So, I tried to be meticulous with my words, because I didn't want it to be misconstrued or taken out of context. So I feel like the way I worded that question was the best possible way I can word it and get as close to the type of answer that I'm looking for, without aggression, anger, or triggering on either side.
Exactly.
And you know what?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Major.
It's I hear what you did. I feel what you did. I think it's a smart decision, a very smart choice. It's going to get you obviously dividends. It's going to, advance you without you having all the negative stigma. But it's very telling that you should even have to do that.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It shouldn't have to be that way. We should be able to speak our minds and just say what we gotta say, but you gotta walk on eggshells.
I was just about to say that.
Because a lot of times, some people are not mature enough to just answer a question at the face value of the question. They get triggered very easily. Very telling.
Absolutely.
Very telling. Go ahead.
It is very telling, and a lot of times when we are in situations where we have to, and I keep trying to bring it home. We have to show our character. Our character is the only way that can get us out of the circumstance or get us through this situation. And it is a very tell that when people are triggered by character-based questions, or they instantly assume, because let's just say I came out and say, oh, what do you bring to the table? A lot of times the triggering just starts, the balloon will get popped, or you just get canceled, but they never take the time to actually ask me a question as to exactly what I mean. They just instantly assume. So you know what they say, what happens when you assume, right?
So I know exactly what they say.
So everybody looking stupid because my perception or your perception and my reality aren't matching. And that's and sometimes, and it happens on both ends. Sometimes the woman will say something and the man is necessarily triggered because he thinks she means it in a manner in which is not necessarily genuine or not necessarily honest. And we both have to work on how we talk to each other, how we speak to each other. I should be able to come to the table and be transparent. Hey, when you do this or when you say this, this is how it makes me feel. You should be able to have the same place to say, hey, when you do this or when you say this, this is how it makes me feel. And then we come to some kind of consensus of how we can work and build this thing together.
Yes.
So I think that, so for me, I try to ask questions that we can build a foundation on. And I think that people are so caught up in the second, third, and fourth floor of the building that they forget about the foundation and the ground level. And so when the pretenses of the relationship are based on everything that is the aesthetic or the superficial or the financial or the resource realm, and we haven't done any of the interpersonal work with one another, then we're basically building the foundation upside down. You have to find a way. And I said to myself, I want to be able to find a partner who I can come in today and I don't have it. And when I say I don't have it, I don't mean money. I mean, I don't have it. I don't have the mental today. I don't really have a lot of words. I don't really have anything to pour today. So today you may have to do 100% because I don't have it. And then tomorrow the roles may flip and you don't have it because we go through seasons. Like, we're still people, right? So how can we get to a point where I can come to you and speak on how I truly feel? And this is the part where people say emotional intelligence, right? It's a big topic, that a big common word that is used, especially by a lot of the women today, right?
Yeah.
But emotional intelligence isn't a one-sided argument or narrative. And I come to find that often the emotional intelligence is welcome when it's beneficial on one side, and it's shunned and it's shunned when it's time for the man to hold the woman accountable to a certain extent.
Exactly.
Now we talking now. Hold up.
Now, I mean, you said you wanted to cook. We doing
there
it.
It is. That's it. Because even what you just said just now, right? The last thing that you said, yeah, today I might don't got it. I ain't talking about money. It's very telling that you had to say that, because even if it was money, what's the problem?
Yeah.
We supposed to be together, right?
Fair enough.
You understand what I'm saying? And this is the problem. We have to teach a lot of these young women out here, and some young men too, to unthink some of these norms. You know what I'm saying? Because, a woman just expect you to kind of be Superman. And, just do everything that she want all the time, understand everything that she needs without even communicating any of that to you, right? But when you have similar demands, it's a problem. And that's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about because, quite frankly, some of us is scared. You feel me?
Well, clearly I ain't scared because you see I left alone, right?
Yeah.
So what it is, and I'm glad that you touched on that because, like I said previously before, when a man has a certain standard or certain boundary, it is often ruled as narcissistic or controlling, or he is temperamental. All these different monikers are placed on him. And when a woman come and say the same exact standard or boundary, oh, she's just doing what's best for her, it's championed. And so why is it that one gender is allowed to have a certain standard level and the other gender is supposed to adhere to that gender standard level while completely being disregarded by what they need to be poured into them?
Facts.
And so when we put it that way, it's kind of like, okay, this all plays into the dating dynamic and the reason why we aren't getting married as much as we used to. And the reason why relationships aren't lasting as long, because I think that a lot of gentlemen such as ourselves have woken up to the reality that, hey, it's going to take me more than money to be the head of this household and be the kind of adequate partner that this woman needs in order for me to get the kind of adequate partner that I need in return. But I do not think that a lot of women have come to the conception that they are going to have to offer more than just the aesthetic or surface level interest to be the kind of partner that the kind of men that they desire are going to choose and decide to stay in relationship with them or marriage with them long term. So like you said, the disconnect is coming from, of course, the social media realm and other people who don't have the outcomes that they're telling you about. I don't know how you would go if somebody never did a brake job in their life. Why would you ask them how to do one? So I wouldn't go to a barber to get my radiator changed.
Right.
So and I like the way I look. I'm damn sure not going to a mechanic to get a cut. You feel me?
Yeah.
So people got to do the job and stay in the lane that works with them. But the thing is, we spend so much time being counterproductive, clashing on things that are trivial, that we don't take the time to do the interpersonal work with each other. And I think that we both have to be vulnerable. We both have to have open communication. We both need a safe space. This idea that men don't require, we may not require it as much. Men need words of affirmation. Men need hugs. Men need love. Men need inspiration. Do you think I want to get out there and garnish my weapon and go protect other people and go back and forth and be at work all night and miss holidays and miss this to come home to a situation where I don't feel like what I do is appreciated? Everything isn't about money. Simple appreciation, value, and respect can guide us through a lot of things. And the biggest thing that I speak on all the time is the word grace. We have to have grace for one another. Yeah. One of the biggest dating fails right now, at least that I see, is that people are so impatient. I mean, so impatient. They're ready to pull the trigger on every situation because they've been shooting out. They've been at the range. It's like they've been at the range all day, and they forget to put the gun down when they're in their personal life. Like you just every little thing, you're triggered. You're ready to fire. You're ready to cancel. You're ready to move on. And then we wonder why we have the outcomes that we have because we're not giving nobody a valid chance to actually show themselves because that person is working through transgressions, issues, and all of these things too. So like you spoke on, nobody comes perfect and nobody comes tailor-made for me. I don't come tailor-made for nobody. But if we can sit down and have a conversation, then we can begin to configure that which way that we can go, point the direction we want to go in, devise a plan, and then start to chip away at it little by little. But if the idea is that this is only about me and my wants and my needs, then you probably never gonna partner with nobody.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Well said on that. And we want to get into the last part of your video. And this is what made me reach out to you, because what you said was so powerful that I felt like you needed more of a platform to expound on it and let the people know in depth what you are trying to convey. Because a lot of people, when you're on platforms and they don't give you a time to really go in depth of what you mean, a lot of people that's triggered, or if they're healthy, they have a bunch of mixed reviews inside of the comment section. So I want to show people this, and then we're definitely going to chop it up and get into it.
All right, we're down to 2 ladies. Ladies, any questions for him?
Yes.
Oh, they're ready. Yes. All right, we'll start here.
Couldn't ask that question fast enough.
Do you want more kids, or are you okay with the son that you have and, intertwining, I guess you could say, the lady's kids and your son?
For me personally, I'm out the game.
Okay.
Those days.
Same. Me too.
Me personally, I'm out the game.
Me too.
Okay. However, to entertain a woman's children would have to be a very tailor-specific situation. As we know, blended families can be very complicated.
Absolutely.
There are certain things and aspects, especially from the male's perspective, that have to be in order for me to even think to come into that position and insert myself.
I agree 100%, because my daughters are not allowed to meet every man that I meet or date, give my phone number to, etc. Like, those are my kids, and I protect my daughter. So I wouldn't expect you to be their stepdad next week. But, I mean, if we're talking long-term goals, potentially, I just wanted to know where your head was at with that.
Fair.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
No? Okay. All right, let's go down over here. We did get a pop balloon. All right, so why'd you end up popping your balloon?
The kids.
I want to let her explain it a little bit.
I feel like, they couldn't wait to answer. Let me jump in this time. I know the answer. We ain't got to pretend. It's the kids.
Right.
And I respect that.
I would like to date somebody that would be open to having children, because I don't have any. So.
Okay.
More than fair. I understand. I definitely respect that. You should go have some.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I respect that. Outside of that, I don't have anything negative to say. Like I said, I'm cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's head on back this way. I'm gonna have you scoot that way for me. Get on over there. Let me have you join us up here. Stand right on over here. So, do y'all have any final questions for one another?
The distance, with you being in Miami, if things were to become possibly serious later on down the line, would you travel? How would traveling back and forth be for you?
Traveling isn't an issue for me. I travel a lot for work and leisure anyway, so it's not necessarily. It's just one curve, go around one tree, all right, park.
Okay.
So no biggie.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. What about for yourself? Are you good?
I do not have any other questions.
Okay. All right. Well, let me ask my final question then. Is it a yes for you for him?
It is.
Okay. And is it a yes for you for her?
I'm gonna have to say no.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but
okay, why is it a no?
Attractive lady. I like the way she speaks. The distance isn't the issue. The actual issue for me is I don't think I want to date a woman with daughters.
Oh.
I don't. That can be a very
tricky
slippery.
thing. Yep.
And one daughter's 15, and that's I don't want to put myself in that kind of position. Not saying never negative.
No, that's fair.
Kids, but there is risk that go along with that. There's certain things that come into that, and when you haven't been there and you don't have that established demeanor and rapport with the children, it can be problematic, and I don't think I want to insert myself in that.
You're not wrong. It's better safe than sorry.
Correct. Absolutely.
I respect that.
I respect that.
Thank you. All right, I'll have you head on back over there. All right, well, thank you so much for coming on. Unfortunately, that's all the balloons, but let's go ahead and give it up for him, ladies.
Thank you,
Take the
ladies.
mic. Thank you.
All right, so
Yo, listen here.
So
Go ahead, Ant.
Shout out to, I wanted to say shout out to Arlette. She's doing a phenomenal job with Pop the Balloon. And shout out to her wonderful husband, BM. They're doing exceptional work behind the scenes, because when I'm at work, I also look at the catch-ups that Arlette does. And I also see certain situations that BM get with certain people, whether they have problematic issues and things like that. And he brings them on screen and hashes everything out so it don't escalate in real life. And I think for a man of that character, especially hearing a lot of things that he do behind the scenes to like speak life into men, give them good knowledge and direction towards marriage, because he's married to his woman. I thought that was presented as great leadership. So I love what they do for the platform. So I definitely shout out to them. Hey, BM, if you out there, you watching, hey, bring us all on. You know, bring Aaron on with us. Let us all have a 5-person chop up, man.
I'll be right back. I wouldn't mind it at all.
Yeah, it would be a great, great, great atmosphere of just intelligent brothers doing some great things. But I brought you on because of that, man. I think what you said was one of the most powerful statements that I've heard on Pop the Balloon. And it exudes so much intelligence and protectiveness that I think a lot of men don't realize and don't even focus, because they get so captivated by how a woman looks versus overall vision of the whole entire situation. So
Absolutely.
by you breaking it down a little bit of just saying, and like I said, you didn't have a long, it wasn't this long drawn out time that you had to
explain
go into details and things like that. And I think, you know, being that it's just on spot, it's not like you had time to really lay out the explanation like that. So it came out a bit choppy. And I think a lot of people look at that and said, oh, well, he might not be secure around young girls. He might be a pedo. We've seen a lot of that in the comments. And we also seen a lot of women that said, no, I commend him for us taking up a stance and being protective of the situation. I understand where he's coming from. So to see the mixed reviews of women, it was very refreshing to see that there was a counterbalance that was on the opposite side of being projected by trauma or personal issues that women had that were labeling you this so-called pedo because you wanted to put boundaries and protect yourself from something that might end up destroying your image and your what you built so hard to build, and also, you know, your family. Everything like that can just crumble down with one decision. And that's why we talk about on here that every decision that you make, whether you're a man or woman, it will affect you in the long run, because whether you like it or not, you are a walking brand. You are a part of your parents' tree. You represent them in all levels and all aspects. So you don't want to put yourself in a situation by you being a good person and somebody say something knowing that they wrongfully said it, but it cannot be taken back, especially with Black men. We've seen it historically, how that little bit of misleading information or misinformation or lies have destroyed Black men to the point where they either couldn't recover from it. If they did recover from it, it led them to depression, suicide, and alcoholic drinks, and even top-notch narcotics. So I wanted to really, really just focus on that and have you dial down in specifics and why it was so important at that moment to do that. And what I really like about what you did that I think a lot of people didn't realize, I like the fact that you allowed her to go first. So that way people could see that she chose him, right? She was like, I didn't have no issues. She was like, I'm good. And then when it came to her, Arlette was like, hey, are you good with? And he was like, nah. And I popped it and then explained. And I love the fact that you allowed her to go in there and say, and present herself like she was good with the situation. And when you popped it, it now switched the narrative where it destroys the narrative of anybody saying, well, I didn't want to choose that dude anyways. So it cut all of that out. So I really wanted you to really dial down and focus and explain in depth what you meant and why you said what you said to help not only your situation, but possibly help millions of brothers that might put themselves in a situation like that.
Okay, so that's a multi-layered question. So we're going to tackle it in sequence, right?
Correct.
So I would say yes, she did choose. You know, the opportunity was given to her first to make the choice to decide that, hey, she's interested in me and she wants to explore where this could go, X, Y, and Z, right? In the comments, I did see people saying, oh, he seems like he may be a weirdo, or he may be this, or he may be that. Why would he wait so long before he pops this woman's balloon, or yada, yada, yada. So the thing is, in the moment, this is where discernment comes in. In the moment, you have to think. Remember, we're doing this on the fly. So a lot of times people make an assumption for whatever reason comes to their mind based in the moment. But if you go back and watch all of the dialogue between her and I, everything between all the questions that I asked and all of her responses, she's telling you verbatim, like, hey, I'm spoiled. I got anger problems. I pout when I don't get my way. I have an attitude issue, so on and so forth. These are very much character-based, and not to defame her character, because she was very nice and pleasant about it. But these are things that any man would look at and see as a red flag, right? I'm sure all of us have dealt with women in our previous dating experience who exuded those characteristics. And it is very much so problematic when dealing with someone, right? So now I have to assess in the moment, because you only have a couple moments to think about this. Well, this woman has told me all of the negatives about herself. She's 30 plus, she's middle 30s, etc. years old. So now she has daughters who are 12 and 15 years old. What makes you think that those same daughters wouldn't exude those same negative characteristics that her mother has? But the difference is that me being the person on the outside, I don't have position of authority to structure those emotions, those feelings, those characteristics, those mannerisms. And we all know, because it's 4 gentlemen on the panel, we all know that the biggest thing that women with children say is that nothing comes before their children, and they will take the side of the children immediately, and you are instantly guilty before you even get the chance to vocalize what's going on. So, in all of that, in a split second of having to determine what I want to do, it's like, okay, well, she's telling me she's this way. She's telling me she's that way. Now, do I want to deal with 3 people who are that way? I don't even know this woman enough. It would be a long distance back and forth. So I can't even establish enough consistency and stability with her to be able to establish consistency and stability with the daughters, to even gain a rapport with them, to even gain their trust and interest, to even structure and discipline them. So it's it's like I said, it's multi-layered, but like my mind runs fast enough to think of all this. Just because the woman is attractive doesn't mean that all of these aspects are attractive enough to deal with her. Right? And we have to get to a point where we understand that as men, especially the men who want to go the professional route, the entrepreneurial route, the this, that, and the third route, all we have to stand on is our word, our character, our image, our likeness, and what we have to provide into the world, not financially, but what service, what structure, what teachings we provide.
Yes.
I come from a 2-parent household. My parents were married for 40 years. My father was very much strict, disciplined, structure, all of these things. My mom was the counter of that. So they flowed evenly, and they had equal roles, but different, because men and women play different roles. I can instantly see myself in a situation where it's like, I'm the outsider in. I'm trying to gain this woman's interest. Her daughter says, I can say, oh, it's 9 o'clock. It's time to go to bed. Get off your phone. Go to bed. Something simple that normal fathers say to their kids every day. But because I'm the outsider in this situation, it's, oh, Aaron said something to me funny, or Aaron may have looked at me in a manner that made me feel uncomfortable. We all know the woman's going to take the side of the child. We have to be realistic. like you said, how many gentlemen have ended up in bad situations based off of accusation? Any professional man, and I work in a field that is based on being as discreet and professional as possible. So now I'm shown in a bad image, like you said, women will say, oh, he gives pedophile vibes, or he gives this, he gives that. No, maybe he gives the vibes of someone who has a lot to lose, and he doesn't think that it is a calculated risk. The person that you take on when they have children is a calculated risk. It could work out, it could not. For every story that you have of a success rate in a blended family, it's probably 3 or 4 times failure rate, right? But the thing is, what I said came off to a lot of women. It triggered their emotions because of the situations of what they want for themselves, because they never factor in what's actually beneficial for the man. And this is what we don't talk about. A lot of women talk about partnership and relationship only from the pretenses of what benefits them. They never talk about being an adequate partner to the man and what we can accomplish.
Correct.
So, as men, this is why you have to have discernment. This is why you have to ask questions that are better than, oh, what do you do? No. How are you in moments of tension? How are you when we are disconnected? How are you in moments of conflict? Do you commit? Like one of the girls on the show had said, oh, she's a good communicator, but she couldn't even remember the questions that I asked her.
I was going to say that.
Right?
I was going to say that.
And I'm just going to say one of the girls. I don't want to put nobody out there.
It was like 3 of them.
Yeah, it was. So one of them, pick one, right? That's fine. Whichever one you like, go with that one. It's not about the girls. It's about, again, in the dating dynamic, a lot of men, a lot of brothers have never realized that these women want to benefit from being with you. And that's fine. As a man, you are supposed to be of service. It's our job to be a teacher. It's our job to guide. It's our job to get you from point A to survival to point Z, etc. But we also have to especially the young brothers, we have to let them know that what they're supposed to ask for and receive in return.
Exactly.
This one-sided narrative that you just have to give and give and give and give. Well, when my cup is empty, how is my cup supposed to be replenished if the person isn't giving back? And we don't give the same things, but you have to give the equivalent of what I'm receptive to. Just like I have to give you the equivalent of what you're receptive to.
Exactly.
And so when we talk about all this stuff, when you mix the families and you mix this, I would have to pour into that child, pour into the mom. Go back and forth with this, that, and the third. She's telling me she has an attitude problem. She got issues in this, she got issues in that. And the elephant in the room with that also is, remember, I also come in this into the blind. I don't know this woman's character at all because I don't see what you all see through her interactions with the gentleman before me. So when you go back and actually watch it, it's like, well, how are you in instances with men that you don't find attractive? How do you just treat men in general? And this is the thing that we don't talk about because it's been in my experience and what I see, not all, but a big percentage of them actually just have disdain for men in general. It ain't even got nothing to do with Aaron. It ain't got nothing to do with Anthony. It ain't got nothing to do with Bobby. It's plain and simple. Do you value and respect men for who they are, not what they can do for you?
Correct.
And when we get down to that, I don't even. We have to even pick partners from that. So there were other questions that I could have asked, but I didn't feel like this is the time to get so super philosophical. You can do that when you want to date, and you can just. So I tried to just get to the questions that can give me like some kind of immediate understanding of what this woman's character, personality, her temperament is. And they told you, like I said, if you listen, I always, and one gem that I like to pass on to my brothers, right? Friends, any gentleman that I come across. I believe wholeheartedly that when you decide to choose a woman that you want to deal with, you have to choose her as if you were a blind man. Because if you are blind, I cannot see you So the other intangibles have to speak to me so significantly well that I would still choose you no matter what you look like.
Fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, that's
And
fire.
so when you say that, if you actually, as men, if when we're actually around women, if you actually would close your eyes and stop getting so caught up on the aesthetic and actually let her character and her temperament and her aura and her genuineness, her soft spokenness, her femininity speak to you, then you'll find better partners.
Yes.
Because that's where a lot of the toxicity comes in, is because we keep trying to have a character base and an aesthetic that's not known for exuding those character traits.
Exactly.
And I think I think you get what I mean. Most men, like I said, we're visual first, but usually our visual preference doesn't align with what actually pours into us and gets us to go from point A to point Z. And so we come in these different barriers and obstacles, and we find all these issues in the dating dynamic because we're so stuck on the aesthetic. But aesthetic is aesthetic is the floor mat. You step on that before you enter.
Exactly.
Right? You step on that before you enter. Now, once you in the place, now all of your other attributes have to shine to get you to stay there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that is why I say you have to change the criteria of how you try to vet or the questions that you ask. You have to be meticulous in your words so that it leaves no room for disconnection. It leaves no room for misunderstanding. Those that get it will get it.
Yeah.
Those that don't, you don't even want to be around them anyway.
There you go.
Exactly.
So I can't even put it no better than that. Those that get it.
Exactly. And I like the fact that you said that, because people got to understand, like, the choices you make, man, in the long run, it will create the heaven or hell. I know a lot of people think heaven and hell is.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people think that heaven and hell is when you die and you go to an unknown place. But reality is your heaven and hell is right here on earth. You can live in a heavenly type of way, or you can live in a hellish type of way. However you choose is based on your decisions of how you're living your life. You know, there's people out here that makes billions of dollars and they're living in a hellish life because a lot of the stuff that they're doing, they probably don't like what they're doing to get that money. And then you have people that look at them and you're like, oh, this person look like they barely making it. But when you talk to the person, they like, man, I got life, man. I'm good. I am living in such a peaceful and harmonic life. Man, ain't nothing better than this. And you looking at them like, man, you crazy. Don't you want money? And they be like, no, money ain't everything, buddy. You got some people that say they'll give up their millions just to have peace of mind. They'll give up their fame just to be regular again, because not everybody understands the capacity that comes with it. And some people just like simplicity. They like the simple aspects of life. So sometimes when you say the balance of finding somebody, when you see a lot of these women that go out here and they try to campaign for a certain man and a certain image, and it's like, if you're not that type of guy, even though you might like the aesthetics of her, it would never work, because she's on one level and all it's going to do is create more pressure on you to demand more from you for her to live the lifestyle she lived. That's why
Absolutely.
You got to understand who you're dealing with in order for you to get a successful way. Another gem I want to apply to the young adults and just put in this room right now in the context, and I've talked about this many, many times. When you look at the statistical rate of men and suicide, men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide. Part of the reason that people don't go into depth of that is people don't realize what contributes to that. So I've always broke it down, and I've said this many times on this platform. A man has to provide happiness for his girl or his wife. A man has to provide happiness for his children. A man has to provide happiness for his mother and father if they're alive. Everybody is depending on this man's happiness. Who provides happiness for him? Nobody. I've had women say, "Oh well, I provide No, because he's the main source of everybody's happiness. You can't provide happiness to the main source. He's the main source that's distributing happiness. You can try to ease some of his, alleviate some of his tension or his responsibilities, but you cannot provide the happiness for that man. So that's why when you see your husband or your guy that's out there, whether they're writing poetry, whether they're playing music, whether they go fishing or things like that, when men talk about they want peace, they're just saying add to what makes them sane, add to what makes them feel relevant and normal. Don't be the stress that they already have, because guess what? When they got to provide happiness for everybody that I just mentioned, they're still being stressed out by their employer, and they got to make sure they got to keep that person happy too in order for them to get their money so that they can distribute financial wealth throughout everybody else that generates the wealth of happiness from that man itself. So
absolutely
all the time, man, be very careful about how you deal with certain men. I even had a situation, and I'm gonna land my plane and give it to Major and Bobby so they could cook. But I'm gonna land my plane on this. I had a situation where I was going through it with my significant other, and I was providing. I get the cars washed. I provide gas. I do this. I was cooking. I did everything that whole week. I was doing it because she wasn't feeling good. And I remember after doing everything, her car was $2,000 worth of mechanic work to it. I got it fixed. I did all of that, right? And I'm sitting back and I'm coming in from a hard days of work, and I'm laying on the couch, and because I'm in my phone and I'm not watching the TV with her, she gets mad. She cuts off the lights on me. Boom. And I'm like, what did I do? I provided all of everything that you wanted me to do. And I'm just coming in. And when I'm on my phone, I like to come in because I can't be on my phone at work. I like to detox. I like to relieve myself and just be in another atmosphere. And with that, I go in to either do stuff for the platforms or whatever the case may be. But that's my moment, right? So when she did that, and I promise you, I went inside the shower and I had a long, long shower. And when I tell you I took a long shower, it was so long that she even noticed it. And when I came out of my shower, she said to me, "I'm sorry. I apologize. I was being selfish. I cut the lights off on you, and I did not mean to do that. I am so, so sorry." And she did everything in her power to make it up to me. And I'm sharing this personal situation with y'all because even when you're in a relationship with somebody, it can, at any given moment, you can do something that will have the other person thinking, is this the long run that I want to be in? Is this something that I want to go on with? Because if I'm dealing with this, if you don't see all the good things that I'm doing, and the one time that I don't do something as simple as watching the TV with you as a problem, then I don't know what to do. But I love the fact that she recognized what was going on. She took accountability and she did everything to make sure she never got back to that space. And I just wanted to share that with you because relationships aren't always this big picket fence with green grass. You're going to have moments. And you have to pick somebody with emotional intelligence. We both have emotional intelligence. I have it and she has it. But she had to use hers in order to save somebody that she prayed for. You see how powerful that is? So I want people to understand, don't get misguided and always pay attention to what's going on. And even when you're wrong, you so in tune with each other that you said, oh shit, something is off. Because this ain't his normal routine of going inside that shower. And I'll land my plane on that. So go ahead.
Bobby Drake, you go, man. We ain't heard from you all night. Get him. We can't hear you now either.
We can't hear you. You
You
muted.
on your mic. Maybe that's why. We'll give Bobby Drake a second. Let me just get in it real quick. Man, I couldn't do nothing but applaud that answer. Because let me tell you, the level of emotional maturity and self-awareness and situational awareness that it takes to make that to give that response is stellar. You understand what I'm saying? There are so many brothers out here that get caught up in these type of situations where, you know, they basically got women walking them down on some accusations that they didn't even do anything. But because of the fact that you put yourself in this situation, Shannon Sharp, Diddy, Tyler Perry, I could go on all day.
There's so many of them, man. There's so many of them.
It's so many of them. And you got to look at it that way. You know, going in, I mean, I would even take it a step further. Just the fact that she even said, you know, admittingly, I have issues. I act childish. I throw fits. No, that's a hell no for me off rip. You understand what I'm saying? But like you said, to add kids to it, that's an additional layer.
Those children are directly an extension of the mother. They're going to mimic and take on her characteristics and actions. If you throw a fit, they going to throw a fit.
Exactly.
If you this, that, and the third, they going to this, that, and the third.
Right.
And the difference is that when you insert Aaron into the situation, Aaron can't deal with that from you or them.
Facts.
Because the issue is that what it would take to correct their behavior has to be run through you.
Right.
But when you exude that behavior, now you don't see the error in what they do either. So nobody's taking accountability. And the only person that sees it is me.
Right.
And now I've lost myself in a whole situation that I am actually the one that actually cares the most about, because I see something, and as the man, it's our job to correct it.
Correct.
If I didn't care, we only correct, try to discipline and structure women or people that we actually care about. Because everybody else can just do whatever they choose to do, because that's not under my spectrum. That's not my responsibility.
Right. They don't understand that either.
And so they have to stop thinking that every time a man tries to hold them accountable or structure or set a boundary or set a guideline, that is controlling, when it really is that I can see bigger and better things for you that you can't see for yourself, because you've been sequestered in all of the ways that you've been all this time, and you haven't got the outcomes that you've been looking for.
Precisely. And let's just keep it a buck. That's called nature.
Absolutely.
Don't they want us to protect them?
So what you have though, right? And what I'm seeing, and I know, and I can be corrected, because if any of you brothers see differently, please feel in to tell me. But what I see now is that a lot of them only want the parts of provision and protection that benefit them.
Here we go. Let me get
that. They don't want the authority and structure-based dynamic that comes behind that, because a man is only in tune to provide and protect you based on he has the authority and domain over the household to do what he needs to do, or as he see fit. Not saying that you don't have a say-so, not saying that we can't have a conversation, but you come to me with a situation based off how you feel, and I'm going to tell you everything I see under my vision in logic, and that has so that it makes sense. I'm not saying that it's not doable or that it can't happen, but hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that?
Right.
Have you thought about X, Y, Z? So many times they come to us based off a feeling or emotion-based circumstance, and they want an instant response or instant validation from that. And when we don't give the instant response or instant validation that they're looking for, it can cause conflict immediately.
Right.
That is basically what Anthony was saying about the whole lights off situation. Instead of saying, hey, babe, I would really like if you got off the phone and watched the TV with me, I would enjoy that. You chose to go the route of, let me give a irrational, erratic response. And I always preach to my son, I preach to family members, I preach to everybody. The difference between men and women is that we are held accountable for our lapses in logic. When a man makes an emotional decision, it's usually not a good outcome. And so I always say that we have to get to the point where you cannot make a long-term decision based on short-term emotion.
Correct.
Because how you may feel an hour from this situation has already sent ripple waves through something that you did. And a lot of times we don't get the option to backtrack in the lapses that we had.
Absolutely. And see, you hit on something key there. You know, we don't get the option to backtrack and so forth. But what I really want to hone in on is the fact that they claim to want us for this purpose, to protect them, and to basically look out for them, to cover them. That's what they claim they want us for. But when they only want us to be a man when they want us to be a man.
When it's convenient.
When it's convenient. And it just doesn't work that way.
No, because because that's like telling a lion to kill a deer when if you stick your head in the lion's mouth, you're going to die.
That's it.
So this deer is friendly or this deer is nice, so you shouldn't chop this one. That's not how that works.
It's not how it works.
You can't be in your masculine energy and do what the head is supposed to do, and do it always in the way that the female is always going to think is the nicest. Because that's why I give pushback on the whole nice guy conversation. And I would say that I'm a good man, but I'm not necessarily a nice guy.
Which is good
because nice guys will tippy toe and dance around the issues. I have to sit here directly and give you a mirror image of yourself. This is what you're doing. This is what it's causing. This is what it's affecting. The nice guy dynamic, he'll come and he'll say, "Oh, well," and women don't adhere to that. They can say, "Oh, they want this," but we know them to say one thing and be completely attracted or interested in the other. And so at times when you're dealing with people who are erratic all over the place emotionally, they say one thing but are receptive to another. As a man, you don't even know which way to attack that, because you'll try to wear all these different hats and none of them will solve the situation. And that's why I say you can't do the nice guy dynamic, because I'm trying to coddle to your emotions 10 minutes ago, and now those emotions have flipped, and now I'm trying to coddle to your current set of emotions, and then those emotions flip. So what you have to do, I tell the young brothers that they have to get to the point where they find a woman who wants to get on their page. Whatever page that is, whatever direction it is that he has set for himself, or he feels he can be that leader, that teacher, that structurer, that all of that. They have to find a woman that's willing to buy into what they believe, see into their vision, and go in that direction. Because when we try to do it on the other end and follow the woman's this and the woman's that, it leaves our households in disarray.
Exactly.
Right. Because that's not natural. That's not the natural order of things.
That's not the order in which it's supposed to be. But that doesn't free our brothers from accountability, because a lot of our brothers pick wrong. Like I said, a lot of our brothers pick wrong. And the thing is, you have to be accountable too. You can't keep going around here blaming women because you keep picking wrong.
Exactly.
And sometimes, and one thing that I see often too is that the woman that really loves you, cares about you, wants the best for you, she's going to challenge you, right?
Yes.
But she's going to challenge you in a manner that doesn't attack your manhood, that doesn't emasculate you. She's going to challenge you in a way that makes you want to pour into what she's saying more. It's like the same way the bros, all of us as men, we can have conversations and say, "Hey, bro, you really need to get your stuff together." And I'll be like, "Yeah, man, I've been kind of BSing, man. I really this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada." But that doesn't, but rhetoric that works for each other doesn't work with the opposite gender. And so we both have to learn a way that we can convey the message that the other gender is receptive to. And that would kind of quell. I mean, we still gonna have occurrences, but that would kind of quell it some. But like you said, we can't do our natural job. And one thing that nobody spoke on, let's be honest, when you say the women are looking for the leader, the provider, the protector, the this, that, and the third, a lot of these women that are saying that are coming from homes where they never had that. Yeah. And so their view and their vocal point on what a man or a real man or what a provider or what a protector is comes skewed because it is given from other women. They don't have examples of the men to say, hey, this is what because a father, a male role model is going to structure his son in ways that's conducive for him to lead the family. And he's going to structure his daughters in a way that she's going to be able to keep a man long term in that position.
Yeah.
No, fact.
And that's often not talked about. We only talk about, we put the onus on what the men aren't and aren't doing, but are the women actually ready, able, and capable of following?
That's
so
facts.
if you don't really want to follow, you don't, and I mean actually follow, not want the benefits of a leader. I mean actually want to follow. A lot of women want husbands, but don't really want to be wives.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's where we at.
We're talking about duties. We're not just talking about the title. We're talking about the duty. And I tell women all the time, nothing is fun about leadership. Leadership is necessary. It's not fun. It's nothing fun about coming in early, leaving late, doing the most, getting the least, making sure everybody's needs, like Anthony said, making sure everybody's needs are taken care of, most of your wants, most of your desires, making sure everybody's good. And then at the end of the day, you may have a plate in the microwave or you may not.
Yeah.
And what you get to do, and what you get for it is you got to get up and do it all again tomorrow with a smile on your face, because you can never let the family know that, hey, dad can't handle this, or this, that, and third is going on. We don't talk a lot of times necessarily because we don't have the soft space to talk in.
That's correct.
And I said that, and I blame us for that, because we keep picking partners that have shown themselves not to be soft spaces because they do other things that we like or other things that we put value into. And subsequently, like, those things won't hold our interest or keep us together long term. So both genders have to really get back and recalibrate of, hey, this what do I really need? Like, not what I want. What do I actually need? What can get me from point A to point B in a structural level that we can actually build this thing out together and get there?
You cooking so much that you got your mic chopping up. So I'm sorry. Yeah, you good.
check the connection on that. See if you could correct that. I just want to wrap up real quick before I pass it to Bobby. So you spit facts on that, but like I say this all the time, and I want to put this out there, to all the brothers who are still out there in the search, all the brothers who are still out there dating. What Aaron just said, I hate that I'm probably not gonna get the clip a lot of it because the audio is bad, but it was priceless. A lot of the stuff that he was saying. It's so necessary. Like he said, it's necessary that you understand these things and that you go into, like, you choose a woman, like he said, like you got your eyes closed. Because, my wife is gorgeous. However, I chose her like I had my eyes closed. And as beautiful as she is, her best qualities are not her looks. Her looks are like 9th or 10th on her list of best qualities. 9th or 10th, dude. Facts. And like Anthony said, and also what Aaron alluded to, when I was choosing her, to be the woman that I wanted to marry, and right before I asked for her hand in marriage, my cousin asked me, like, yo, man, so what, you used to be Machiavelli. You was the dude out there. Like, what made you want to calm down and settle and choose? Why did you choose her? What was it about her? And I told him, it blew his mind. I was like, she was humble. She knew how to apologize. She knew how to put me first. She did something one time. I tell a story all the time. She did something one time. We got into a bad argument. She apologized. She contacted me. She said, hey, that's not the person that I am. I'm really, really sorry, XYZ. She said it would never happen again, and it never happened again. You know what I'm saying? And that is such a rare quality in women today. Just being able to be humble, apologize, get into your softer side. We want you ladies because you're soft. That's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? These women want to be all like Glorilla. Yeah, I'm hard. I'm the bad bitch. I'm this. I'm a savage like Meg Thee Stallion. Nah, bro, that ain't what men are. That's not what quality men are looking for. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for women who, in addition to your beauty, in addition to, you know, how you present and all that type of stuff, even in addition to the way that you speak, because you got some women who are very soft-spoken that are really toxic. And I've seen a few of them lately.
Absolutely.
You understand? We want you to be genuine and to be able to remove yourself from yourself and see your flaws and correct them. I'll park the Chevy. Bobby Drake, what you got, man?
Man, look. Shout out to you, brother Aaron.
He cooking.
I was conflicted. There was at least several different points during Aaron speaking that I just wanted to up and take my computer and head to the nearest church and continue recording from there, because all I want, I don't know if you can see me moving and shit. I try to be still upper body wise.
Yeah.
But the whole time this man talking, my feet shuffling like I'm in a Pentecostal church. I'm just doing all kind of backflips and cartwheels, and it looked like Cirque du Soleil over here. If you were able to see back here,
he was cooking.
The man may as well go ahead and apply for his Michelin chef license. I'm gonna tell you right now, brother. I know you got your hands full. You do investigations. You out here with the personal protection. But if you need 2 additional streams of income, 2 additional jobs, man, you definitely got Michelin chef. You gonna be Gordon Ramsay somewhere. That's one.
Chefing.
The other one is you may as well open your own gem store, brother. Aaron's Gems, Aaron's Diamonds. I don't know, because all you doing is just tossing out precious stones like you got a whole mine in your backyard, man.
It's crazy.
Kudos to you.
I really appreciate that, man. I really appreciate that.
Audio's clear.
Okay, audio's good.
Solid.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take up too much time because I believe that less can be more, and you just laid out so much. We ain't really got to we don't have to touch any more main course. We can just get the little dessert. We can get those sides off the way. I definitely want to tip your hat. Well, first off, I'll do that towards the end. Let me tip my hat first off and agree with what you said about attractiveness and attraction, because that's something that gets talked about, but it doesn't really get touched on in depth because that's so important. What a lot of people don't understand, don't think about, and if you're a nerd, if you spend time in the sciences, if you understand how the concept of genetics and evolution works out, you understand that attraction is really a survival mechanism. From a biological standpoint, attractiveness is a biological adaptation, like speed, like strength. What attractiveness does is it helps the creature or the person or whatever it is guarantee their ability to pass down the genetics. As evolved and as advanced as we are, for the most part, if you're ugly or if you're perceived as less attractive, you have fewer chances to go ahead and pass on your genes to the next person. You have a lesser chance of bumping uglies with somebody.
Correct.
If you look good, if you're a handsome looking brother, if you're a gorgeous looking sister, your chance to pass on your genes to the next generation goes up that much more. And when you think about, especially when you look at our society, how we move and operate today, you can also understand when I say that a lot of that is also soaked in finesse and deception.
Absolutely.
I look good,
Absolutely.
so I can get away with things. I can push the envelope that someone that don't look as good as me can get away with. So this isn't to say that attractive people don't have character, don't have integrity, or don't have any good attributes. But we're saying that typically, and we see this as well too, a lot of people that know they look good try to push the envelope.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important, as you say, to take the whole Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder approach.
Mm-hmm.
Touch some forearms if you got to, but understand that like you said, the looks should be the floor. Nobody, male or female, should be getting points, at least not significant points, for winning the genetic lottery. You didn't do anything to do that. You just simply just happened to pop up and you just got this award. You didn't do anything for it. It's the intrinsics, it's the internal attributes that matter, because you had to get those out the mud. You had to be taught that. You had to develop that. You had to have that in season and out of season. You know, you might get, God forbid, in a car accident or some terrible accident, and your face is scarred, you lose your muscle, whatever. You don't have those looks anymore. What do you have left? Are you as gorgeous on the inside as you are on the outside? Because no matter what, the looks you have on the inside, that ain't going anywhere if it's real. So you got to make sure. It's good to have this. I'm not saying look for people that have the facial features of a brick wall. I'm not saying that. But make sure, like you said, that's the floor.
It has to be.
Understand that if I'm here with you, you already look good. That's it. So because I don't deal with ugly people. So if I'm here, you know what it is.
Attraction.
Something else, just a personal thing that I've adapted to in my life is when I'm interested in a woman, I might comment on her looks initially, but I spend very little time complimenting my woman physically. And the reason for that is because, again, first off, my standard is you need to look good to be here. So do I look good or not? I'm here, ain't I? Now, if your outfit look good, if you put on the nines, we're going out or something, I'll definitely say, you're looking on point tonight, baby. I'll do that. But again, spend very little time complimenting her looks, because as you mentioned, we also set the tone for our relationships. If you keep on emphasizing how good a woman looks, she's going to start getting the idea that this is all I got. I literally just got to show up and look pretty and that's it. No. Compliment her kindness.
Yeah.
I like how you said that to that lady over there. I love the way you treat your father and your mother. I like how generous you are. I love your integrity. You could have, let that slide, but you had to say something. I like that. Compliment those attributes. And a lot of attractive women that have character, they'll also tell you that means something to them too, because they get told they're beautiful all the time. They got 50 dudes they inbox and in their comments, you're so gorgeous. Oh my God, I drink your basmati. They hear that all the time. Come to them with something they ain't heard before. Their character. That goes a long way for them. It goes a long way for you. And it also helps condition your mind to focus less on those other things and find those attractive. So definitely want to co-sign that. I also like what you said about the whole nice guy thing. I'm glad you said that. A while ago, personally, that became an insult to me. I don't like when people call me nice. And I actually have a personal policy. I'm at the point where I don't even think about it. I'm aware that I do it. But when it happens in the moment, I might not always be present there. It's just a reflex. When people tell me, or when someone says, hey, you're a nice guy, you're nice, I find a way to be an asshole.
There you go.
I really do. I say something shitty. I'm going to insult you. I'm going to crack it. I'm going to say something nasty. I'm just going to ignore you. I'm going to find some way to show my ass, because personally, I resent that. Because nice guys, nice girls, that's fake. That's an act. And that's one of the reasons why they tend to complain a lot. Well, I don't understand why this happened. I'm a nice guy. If you are a nice guy, then what do you complain? That's your characteristic. You're going to do that no matter what the case is. I would also take it a step further and also suggest that there's no such thing as a good man.
Fair enough.
Because socially, good, as we were talking about, tends to be reflective of benefiting me. So if you ask me for $5 and I say, sorry, I can't do it, or not today, whatever, I might be the most charitable dude out here. I just happen to tell you no this one day. You ask me 5 minutes from now, it might have been a yes. Or you ask me tomorrow, I might give you $100. But today in this moment, I tell you no. So now, am I still a good man, or am I a piece of shit? No, man, I know he got money. He just walked out of that store, man. I know he got money. He just agreed. Now I'm not a good man anymore, because I didn't do what you wanted me to do. So how do we evaluate this? Because we want good people in our lives. So then if there are no good men, Bobby, if there are no good women, how do we make this distinction? What are those person's values? Again, asking the right questions gets you the right answers. So don't worry about, are they a good person or are you a good person? Here I am. What's that mean? What is your values? What is your personal code? What do you live by? That's what's going to tell you if this person's values align with yours or not, because it's all about alignment. There are some quote unquote good people out here who you're not a match for. There might be a great woman, might be a great man, but you have different values. You have a different code. You're not going to connect or mesh well with each other. Find the people who have the values and the code that align with you, and that's going to be your person. I also like something else, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, but I was listening very carefully to the questions you asked. I love the questions. One of the things I noticed is you did something that Neely Fuller Jr. always talks about. Neely Fuller Jr. always talks about all of the world's problems can be solved through the process of questions and answers. When you ask those sisters those questions, you asked open-ended questions. You didn't ask any leading. You didn't steer them or drive them to the response that you wanted, or you just asked straight up open-ended questions. And you didn't have any anxious looks or any tells. You just straight up asked the question, no specific tone or bias in your voice, just straight up, and you let them answer. And I like how you said you even liked how they were even struggling to come up with the answers because you could see it on the fly. You could tell if it's rehearsed or if this is just really coming from a place of thought.
Right.
That's major. We tend to ask a lot of questions and we wonder how we get played because a lot of times the questions we ask are no good.
Yeah.
Even if you're an attorney in court, they even talk about leading questions. You're trying to lead the witness to a certain answer. No, just ask the damn question. Do you have children? Because I'm not really a big fan of children, but I still want to know if you have children. No, I have no children. Oh, thank God. Well, she got no kids. She know that's not what you like, and she like you. So, open-ended questions, major key alert. And another thing that I think really also vibed very well with the questions you were asking is that it was clear up front from the minute you open your mouth that you're a brother who has purpose and clarity, and you know your why. And you move with that in how you handle yourself, how you comport yourself, and then what you look for women. There's no kind of wishy-washy, there's no indecision, not getting too attached to the outcome. Your outcome is the end result. You're not worried about the person. You're trying to get to a certain place. Your destination is a location. It is not a person. So you fully demonstrated, and I'm not sure if it's because there was no woman that was tempting enough to do that, but I don't think that's the case. It was clear that you weren't you liked the candidates that you saw, but you weren't so caught up in any of them that you were willing to forego or sacrifice your desired outcome just to say I have this person. And a lot of us do that not just with getting into relationships, but when we are in relationships. A lot of people in relationships they need to be out of.
Absolutely.
But but the problem is, the issue is they bet the whole damn farm on this one person. They went backwards on their morals and their codes. They've had to cut off good relationships they shouldn't have for this person. They've had to take all kind of L's, and now they're so invested in this person, they can't fathom ending it because if they do, I just wasted all this time, all this energy, all these resources. The destination is the focus. Focus on your focus. Only align yourself with people that'll get you to that point. And it was clear from your thoughts, your speech, and actions, even tonight, brother, that you are very much all in with your purpose and you have clarity. Last thing I want to say is something else going to what you were also touching on is the idea of passion or being so emotionally involved in this person. Passion's good. Passion is great. It's a spice, is what they say, right? It's a spice of life, spice of relationships. But you also have to be mindful because it's just that. It's a spice. It's not the dish.
Facts.
People will line up to go and order food that might be a little bland from someplace. I've never seen someone line up to a restaurant and say, "Hey man, let me get some fried paprika, man. That look really good right there, man. I'm sorry for that. I could kill some cinnamon." No one's ever said that. Duty is what matters because duty is what's going to tide you over. It's what's going to hold you down. It's what's going to have you when you wake up in the morning. I don't feel like it, but I've got to be a husband today. So let me go ahead and step up to that. Duty is what's going to say, you know what? I just got home tired, but I'm a wife. There's a duty there. I got to go ahead and carry out my duty. And passion comes to go ahead and add some season to that. Excellent points, man. The only question I have for you, and then I'm done. The only question I have, because you kind of answered everything else, is how long ago was your last relationship? And if you don't mind, what was it that prompted the end of that?
Long ago, it's been years, a few years at least. And I would say the real reason that relationship ended is because there were more outside factors than inside factors. And what I mean by that is I was dating a young lady, and her family dynamic was chaotic, right? Chaos from her outside, her family and friend dynamic was very chaotic, very all over the place, a lot of jealousy, manipulation, all these different tactics, stemming from the women in her family not having partners, right? So I think you get where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So me in the situation, being the way that I am, because if I'm all in with a woman, now we're working on things. Okay, well, what's going on with your credit? What's going on with what kind of goals do you have for yourself? What's the end result for whatever it is that you're trying to do? Are you going to school? Are you trying to be this or whatever's going on, right? Because honestly, if you're going to be my partner, then I need you in the best standings, because it'll ultimately help me to be in the best standings, right?
Yes.
So in trying to get to that point, we kept having issues or challenges that stem from mom's situation is all over the place. So you got to play caretaker, navigator, overcompensator. Sister situation, not in the right place. So same thing. Friends. Oh, don't let this guy control you. This guy's putting thoughts into your head. This guy's this and this guy's that. When in reality, this guy's intentional. He has a plan for you and him. But at the same time, he's willing to walk with you to the destination, but he will not carry you there.
I like what you just said.
And so that's the thing that became conflict, because it's like we kept going back and forth about issues that weren't even our necessary issues, but they were spewing into our dynamic, and we had to move our separate ways, because you can't convince somebody. One of the hardest things it is for people to do when they're being used to being manipulated and they don't see it. When somebody tries to come in and point it out and correct it, you say, oh, you're trying to separate me from this, or oh, you're trying to push me in this direction, or oh, you want to control me or isolate me. When in reality is the people that you're isolating me from, or you isolating yourself from me, is taking you to the people that are actually the controllers and the manipulators. But because they have trained, and this is why I say when a lot of women don't have that male role model structure dynamic, they see everything that men do as a confrontation or as a control thing, when it's really more so, hey, if you're going to be my woman, this is the vision that I have for myself and my family and my this and my that. Are you willing to buy into it? Are you willing to follow it? Are you willing to work with me so that we can get to the destination? And then ultimately, and long story short, it felt like her own friends and her own this and her own that was bigger than what we were trying to build.
That's a problem.
And so for me, it wasn't going to work, because when I come into a situation with somebody, she's the focal point. She's the focal point, and I expect to be the focal point too. And so we can't hold on to what my brother got going on, what my sister got going on. They got to figure out their own life. I'm not saying we don't want to help, we don't care, we don't have empathy, but we can't compromise our situation for other people's situation. And now their situation is resolved, and now we at ends with each other.
Well said.
Well said.
Well said.
I know we got to get up out of here real quick, but I do want to show this one video that really talks about why Aaron said what he said, and historically we'll see the repercussions that things like this happen. So check this out.
A Bristol Township woman who falsely accused a stranger of trying to kidnap and rape her is going to jail. Last April, 20-year-old Angela Urumova told police a man grabbed her in a parking lot, punched her, and tried to drag her into his truck. Police traced the man down and arrested him in front of his wife and kids. He spent a month in jail before detectives questioned Urumova about inconsistencies in her story. She then admitted she had never met him and he never touched her. Urumova will spend at least a month and a half in jail for the false claims.
All right, so as you can see, this woman actually destroyed this man's life. He had a wife and kids, and just imagine at that moment where he has to present himself as his innocence. Your wife is like, yo, the fuck, like you out here dealing with women and raping women, and I'm here. This man is probably telling his wife, babe, I didn't do nothing. And she's like, yo, you're lying, because they wouldn't arrest you if that was the case. But it goes to show you how one woman's accusations towards a man can just ruin his whole life without any concrete evidence to show that this man did it. And on top of that, this man spent a month in jail, and this man finally got free because she admitted that she lied. And this man don't even know this woman from a can of paint. That's the worst thing. You know, if it was something like a coworker or something, that would have been a whole different thing where she knew this guy and just tried to do something. But this lady just picked a random man and damn near destroyed his whole life in front of his child. Those are moments you can't get back. Even got his fingerprints in the system based on somebody else and not the stuff that he did. And then for him to spend a month and for her to spend a month and a half, that just doesn't equate. There has to be stronger laws against these women, but also it's designed that way. You know, they want to make sure that the man is at his at bay, and keeping the man who's out here doing, especially a man that's out here providing, to make sure that he can never exceed at a level where he's going to be right. It's always giving the power to women, especially when they lie, that even when they get out, they get a slap on the wrist, and a man never gets that type of empathy. So I just wanted to show that part, because when Aaron was speaking on how that dynamic of being with a woman that has a 15 and 16-year-old, we have seen and heard stories of these young girls will sit there and lie just so that they can get the man out of the house based on spite, whether they don't like him or whatever. And this man's whole reputation is destroyed, because even when a man sits back and proves himself that he didn't do it, it doesn't matter. The dark cloud will forever remain above him, because a lot of people will not forgive him, and a lot of people will still hold him accountable as if he did something, even though he cleared his name. So I just wanted to put that out there and show you guys that. I know we got to get out of here, but I want to show you guys this also. I thought this was very funny, because I've always clowned my homeboy. He used to say some crazy stuff to some women, not crazy as sexual, but he would just say some off the wall stuff. I remember one girl told me, yo, your boy said something about what's up, and something about the sky is blue or something crazy. And I'm like, yo, what the hell? What was that about? So I saw this and I thought this was funny, right? So say the FBI agent was listening on the phone, say he was tapping your phone and listening to your conversation. This dude said, let me crack an egg in your ass and beat it till it's scrambled. And the FBI agent like, man, get this. So I thought that was very funny. But at the serious note is that sometimes you guys just say some crazy stuff off the phone on the thing, man. We got to be more precise and just be real eloquent about what you're saying and doing, and be intentional. With that being said, I know I just want to ask this question, because one of the things that I found on Pop the Balloon, I noticed there was a commonality when I was watching the catch up, where Arlette, she does a phenomenal job with the catch up, or the people who matched up on the date. And one of the biggest things that I saw, two of the biggest things, was communication. There was always a communication issue, right? And you'll be surprised at how much the communication was being lacked on a woman's part, because there were some guys out there that was very intent, and they were very detailed about their communication, and the women dropped the ball. And when the men called them out on it and to be held accountable, they got offended by it. And I thought that was very, very, very telltale. But another thing that I saw that was very problematic is that a lot of fellas don't know how to set dates. So with the question of the day, I wanted to ask you guys real quick, fellas, let's help other men out on knowing ways to plan a date. What are some tips you can advise so men can be more successful at planning dates?
All right,
fellas.
Go ahead, Aaron. Since you the guest, you go first, real quick, and then we'll hit it up, and then we'll head out. Go ahead, Aaron.
Okay, so to make it quick, I don't want to make it long and drawn out. I would say that first you have to be intentional in your question asking. Qualify women by what they like, what their interests are, what they do in their pastimes, what they do with their friends, with their families, the things that speak to them or resonate with them. Now, when you got that, once you have that in the database, there are certain platforms like Eventbrite, Facebook, all these different places that have carnivals, festivals, ins and outs, little dives, this, that, and the third. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money for the date to be intentional and thoughtful, right? Then you have to actually ask and communicate, like ask specific questions. What day, what time, what this, what that. Do not leave anything up to chance or you should know. You're the man, take the lead role, right? And then you have to go into it. And the biggest thing that you have to do when planning and being successful in the day is go into it optimistic with an open mind, be positive, and actually communicate. Actually ask the questions. Don't just spend the time there looking around. This is your time to shine. This is your time to ask questions. This is your time to qualify her for what you need. This is the time to qualify for yourself for what she needs. And then just have fun, man. Don't overthink it. Just go into it and have a good time and hope for the best possible outcome.
Facts.
Well said. Facts.
Well said. He said most of the shit I was gonna say. What I'm gonna say now? All right. Let me add a little bit to that. Let me add a little bit of spice to that. In addition to that, fellas, get your confidence up. At the end of the day, dating and being successful in dating and dealing with women more broadly has much, if not just about all, to do with your confidence and your level of planning and executing. So like you said, be deliberate, you ask your questions, whatever the case may be, but also your follow-up got to be on point. You got to be on time. When you say the place, don't stutter and stammer. Oh, well, do you want this? You ask one or two questions, you find out what she likes. Okay, I know this restaurant's going to be perfect, or this, whatever other outing is going to be perfect. You already have that in your mind, and you are confident because of what you've said to her that this is going to be fly. Do not spend exorbitant amounts of money on the first date.
No.
I gotta put that out there because a lot of y'all be trying to stunt and trick, and you don't even know if you like this woman yet. As much of an opportunity as it is for her, it's also an opportunity for you and vice versa. You guys are going there to get to know each other, so make sure that you kind of focus on a place that you can go and sit down and be able to talk and really flesh each other out. That's really important. And, just be yourself. Don't try to put on false airs. Don't try to, wear all your flyer shit. You might get robbed. You understand what I'm saying? Don't be trying to wear all your jewelry and all that shit. You understand? Don't necessarily focus on trying to get ass and get coochie and all that on the first date because, again, you're trying to qualify her just like she's trying to qualify you. She might not even be worth you taking to bed. So fellas, I just want to put those things out there and just execute, and you'll be all right. And I'll park the Chevy.
Flames.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bobby.
I got three hot ones, and I'm a
go for
gas break dip.
Yeah.
First and foremost, fellas, I am going to give you permission to be lazy, or rather, I'm going to give you permission to work smarter, not harder.
Okay.
My brothers, welcome to the year of our Lord 2025 AD. I don't know if y'all heard, but there's this magical device called a smartphone. Just about all of us have it at this point.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, there's also this invention called AI, artificial intelligence. There's about 1911 different AI engines out there right now. And if you are a brother, you got everything else going for you, but you're strapped on the creative edge, that's okay. All you gotta do is grab your phone, pull up whatever AI, you just do it at random and say, hey, so and so, I have a date that I'm trying to organize for such and such date. What are some things that would be a good idea to do in such and such city for people who like da 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 da, yada da da, and rah rah rah? And give it about a good 30 seconds, your AI is going to spit you out a whole list of date ideas. You can even have it cobble together an itinerary for you, literally like having a personal assistant right there in your hand.
It's true.
Stop killing yourself. You're probably going to get a stroke later on in life. Don't speed up the process and get it now for these dates. Put your 19.99 smartphone that costs a car note to work for you. That's the first tip. Second tip. I can't stress this enough because it's very important. Do not, I repeat, do not make it a point to take her on a date that you're not interested in. Dudes be trying to, again, like Major said, like Aaron said, y'all be trying to flex, y'all be trying to do too much. You know she's a big Disney fan, you can't stand Disney, but you want to take her to the Disney store, Wonderful World of Disney, and you miserable. She's having the time of her life and you're dying. You wish someone would just go ahead and just start a robbery or something to shut this thing down early. And then you know what's going to happen at the end of the date? You going to expect some buns. I suffered through this whole day. The least you can do is give me some yams. When you don't get the yams, now you want to have a hissy fit. In part because you put yourself through suffering. I do not ever take a woman out on a date anywhere that I do not want to go to. I go to places that I want to go to. I have first-time experience. I go to a place, I've been meaning to try this restaurant. I've been meaning to go to such and such a place. Hey, how would you like to go here? That sounds good. Bam. That ensures that even if she's having a miserable time, I'm having a good time. So no matter what, Bobby got his money's worth. Y'all be talking about I wasted my money on this date. Bobby didn't. I did exactly what I wanted to do. I saw what I wanted to see. I ate what I wanted to eat. I had a good time. And if she did too, that's even better. So no matter what, I don't miss out, but I'm also present. I'm able to focus on her and the date and not worry about what I might get after the fact. I can be in the present. Third tip, when you're on your date, pay attention, focus. A lot of y'all dudes try to ask certain questions that are obvious, that show no creativity, no imagination, and it basically says that you're not very intelligent. Y'all try to get to the end at the beginning. Well, what do you bring to the table? Are you such and such? Are you this and that kind of person? How about you watch? Perfect quick example. Last date I was on, we had a nice time in a downtown location. We were trying to go out over there, but a whole bunch of things kept going sideways. The weather turned sour, but she was still interested in meeting up and everything. We went to go get some ice cream and do some other activities. The main place that I wanted to go to, we were doing this on a holiday. I had checked, there was nothing online that indicated it, but when we pulled up, the place was closed. Dang. So we said, you know what? We're just going to walk around. We can just have a conversation. We're just going to find something else to do. Went to a store to go get some ice cream. Come to find out that they're only taking cash because power got knocked out, so everything was coming back online. I'm around looking for an ATM. First thing she did was, not to say anything, she went to go ahead and went in her purse. She pulled out some money to pay for it herself. Bill was too big. They told her we don't take that size. But I'm watching. I'm seeing, okay, so she saw I was getting ready to pay. It was clear I was going to go digital. She saw that I wasn't going to be able to pay my way. She automatically reached in to grab money. She's not looking at me like, oh, well, you better rob somebody. You better sell something. No, she automatically jumped in, didn't have to say anything to her. I saw that. When we get in these roadblocks and obstacles, I'm seeing how she's dealing with these changes of plans and everything. She's right there with it. We ended up going to a pool hall about a block and a half down. Spent the whole day playing pool, having a great time, laughing, dancing to some Spanish music, the whole 9 yards. We had a wonderful date. And we already got another one planned in the books coming up. We're going to see how it turns out. But I'm watching and observing what's happening. I didn't set this up. But real life did what it does, throws curveballs at you. And I'm watching, I'm mindful. Okay, this is an opportunity. I didn't have to shit test her.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do the crazy about, oh, I lost my job. I can't work for 2 weeks. So let me see. I didn't have to do that. I saw what happened when the paper wasn't right and how she responded.
Yeah.
I saw how she dealt with adversity. I saw how we ended up switching to a date idea that was less glamorous than what I had planned, but she was still all in as if it was the same thing, and we had even better time probably than the other thing I had planned.
Nice.
Observation is free.
Yes.
You don't gotta ask stupid questions. You don't have to come up with stupid shit tests. Observation is free. If you just sit back, life is gonna do everything it needs to do.
Well said. Okay.
All right.
Bobby Drake.
That's
with
what's
the
up.
gems.
He put the flames on that, boy.
Bobby Drake with the gems.
All right. So what?
Aaron and Bobby Jewelers, we about to go to business.
Yeah.
All right. So we in our last segment for now. It's a crown check. So our crown check tonight is definitely going out to this young sister right here. Meet Jessica Hyatt, the highest rated African American woman in chess history. This woman is doing her thing. All right. So just to know a little bit more about her, in 2019, Hyatt won the New York State Scholastic Championships and was the 2023 KCF All-Girls National Champion. Hyatt is the highest rated African-American female chess player in history and has a 5-time national U.S. youth team member. She also did in November 2023, she caused the upset at the World Young Youth Chess Championship where she was rated 18-18 and held a draw against Leah, who was rated 22-36. It was predicted that the Leah girl was better than her, but she ended up upsetting her. In 2024, Hyatt became the youngest African-American woman to achieve the national master title and second in the world, only 1 month after that situation. And that is a phenomenal job by this young queen who is 19 years old, man. That's phenomenal. So definitely, man, definitely wanted to give a shout out to that. I think I took, what's the name off the, hold on. Did I take him off? I did take him off the screen. My bad. So yeah, that's what we have for tonight. Let me get Major back on here. My bad, Major. I done took you off the screen for a
This
second.
guy.
Headshot. Boom.
Happy fingers.
Yeah, so that's what it is for tonight, man. I appreciate this has been a phenomenal show. Thank you so much, Aaron, for coming on with us, man. So we're gonna let you get your final thoughts in before we get off of here and everybody else can close out.
Okay. Final thoughts, man. I just like to say overall that I would like for us in general, men and women, to just put the emphasis back on the community. Stop finding ways for us to separate and find ways for us to unite. Let them little petty differences go. Let these little insignificant things go, because at this point in our ages, it's about the people after us, the children, your son, our daughters, this everybody. We are losing the elders. The people they're dying out, and when they're gone, it's not going to be anybody to lead. So we got to figure out a way to get it together before it gets to that point, man. I just want to show, I appreciate everybody on the panel for even having me, man. It's been nothing but love, good conversations. Hopefully we'll connect again soon. And, I pray that everybody has prosperous weeks. Everybody listening, man. If this was a little bit insightful, man, I hope you feel free to reach out. Everything that you need, you already got the tools. You just got to go out there and apply them.
Definitely. Well facts.
Said, yes.
Definitely love having you on. We're definitely going to bring you back, man. Go ahead, Major.
Definitely. Yo, man, everybody out there, listen. You can find love. I was just talking to somebody earlier today, and they were full of hope and despair. You know what I'm saying? And I hate this mentality of, it don't matter what you do. Everybody gonna treat you wrong. And a lot is to be said about the way that you simply approach a situation. If your mindset coming in is that, there is no hope, then you've defeated yourself. And it's really no purpose. You'll never find happiness that way. So go out there, shoot your best shot, be your best self, put your best self out there. and really see what it does. And you know what I've also found is that when you present your best self, you get the best in other people and you attract better. So I'll park the Chevy with that.
Definitely. All right, Bobby Drake, take us out.
Oh man, once again, much love and appreciation, respect to Brother Aaron for coming through, for making time for us. Glad to have you on. This is definitely going to be one of our highlight episodes for sure.
It's outstanding.
Top level intellectual chessmanship that you were putting on display. A lot of game that I hope brothers can pick up on from, and also that some ladies can learn from as well too. This is what it looks like when we talk about handling dating and relationships in a mature, thoughtful, and present way. This is what it looks like, and I'm glad that you were able to really lay that out for us. You know, Pop the Balloons, interesting show. It's a bit more so known for its viral moments and for its dysfunction, but just like with life, there are some gems there if you're open to it, and I'm glad that you were one of them, man. Want to appreciate all our fans, all our followers from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever. Please make sure you go ahead, do what the text says, hit the like button, share this, subscribe, tell other people so they can get this good wisdom, and make sure you hit the bell icon just above. We are not going to blow up your notifications, but when 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time rolls around, you will get the notification the family meeting is about to commence, and you can come on and take part. This guy above me, that's Anthony Malcolm.
Yeah.
Over here, we got Major Gage.
Yeah.
Directly next to me, we got Aaron, and I am Bobby Drake. Tonight, we are Manversations 2020.
All right.
Back, brothers.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. I think
Take
this
us
is
home, Ant.
Huh?
Take us home, Ant.
Well, you know, I haven't done it in a long time, so
I got you, dog. I got you.
Gas up the whip, bro. Gas up the whip.
Normally Major does this, man. You know.
Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manversations.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there. You gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross, and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire. The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew their glorious past, if that people knew their glorious past, if that people knew their glorious past, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manversations.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter, make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we must stand together and be counted because people look to us for guidance, leadership, and protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job. Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose. Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage, we are. This is Manifestations 20.